right, and we are officially live for episode 5 with Howie Fisher. If you guys don't know Howie Fisher, I highly recommend you go check out his Instagram. His Instagram is in the description of this video. Um, Today's episode is brought to you by actually two sponsors. We have a new sponsor that I want to welcome aboard that is Midwest Bucktails. If you guys are watching this show and you are going to be watching it within the next 24 hours, the code to get 10% off on your order is ATV10, and it's only live for 24 hours. So go head over to their website and get your discount. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, you could reach out to any of us, and we'll be able to help you out with possibly a selection or whatever. But if you do reach out to them directly, they could definitely help you out and get the specific tail you want. Our main sponsor is HMH. HMH is the main supporter of this channel, and I just want to say thank you to HMH. HMH has been making fly tying vices, tying tools, and tube fly material since 1975, located in Biddeford, Maine. Their products are not only made in the U.S., but all the vice parts are made in the state of Maine. All HMH products are hand assembled by not a small team of not only fly tyers but registered Maine fly fishing guides. These guys know what works. All their products can be seen at tyingvices.com or ask your local shop to carry HMH. Um, Episode has been recorded on riverside.fm. If you're looking to start a podcast or a video podcast, head over to Riverside. I have the link in our description. Super easy. It does everything for you. It does everything from editing to bringing everything together. There's even a separate chat. You could even do video calls. And I touched on that in the past. We will be doing video calls down the road. So stay tuned for that. But let's not waste any more time. Howie, go ahead and give us your intro.
I'm Howie Fisher. That's it. No, just kidding. Howie Fisher. I mean, you did a great intro, I think. I'm currently in Frederick, Maryland, which is about an hour north of DC. Started tying flies about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and kind of just fell headlong into it, and have just grown to love it, and kind of started getting real serious about it and selling flies, and uh, then ended up. I was talking to someone recently about this. Like, if you had asked me when I started tying flies that I would be doing what I think, I'd be on a podcast right now, right? I would have told that person that they're crazy. There's no way. So I've been incredibly blessed, and just have really enjoyed the journey and love teaching people. And so that's really a major part of why I love doing stuff like this, is not necessarily to get my face out there or anything like that, but just really just hang out with guys like you and teach people. And I also love learning new stuff as well. So, um, anything else specific you'd like me to hit on?
Uh, what? I mean, we're just gonna kind of go into questions, but
That's fine.
that's good enough for me. I mean,
I
Okay.
got a question. Howie, how old are you?
29.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Been married for, I'll let you do the math. Been married for 10 years, almost, coming up in August. And we've got a 2-year old and a 1-year old. So we're in the thick of it right now.
Oh
Wow.
yeah, very busy, very
Yeah, and you're in
busy.
Fredericks. You're not too far from me. I'm in deep South Jersey. I'm like
Okay.
10 minutes from the Delaware Memorial Bridge.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know a lot of people actually in that area. I went to school right outside of Philadelphia. Have you ever heard of Eastern University?
Oh, I haven't, but
It's
I
near
grew up outside of
Villanova.
Philly too. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so I used to work at the King of Prussia Mall at L. Bean. Um, so yeah.
nice, nice, nice. So, did you fish Valley Creek a lot?
I did not
Oh
actually
my God! What is
because
wrong with you?
because I wasn't fly fishing at that point actually. So
Ah,
yeah, it's funny. I've lived a lot of places that have phenomenal fly fishing and didn't pick up fly fishing until about 7 years ago. And I think about that often. Like I lived in Colorado for a semester in college. That was like my semester abroad. And I mean, it could have been. It's probably a good thing that I didn't know how to fish or wasn't fly
'cause
fishing
you
back then.
probably would have
Yeah,
never finished school.
no, it would have been bad. It would have been bad. But yeah. So yeah, so we're gonna be tying up a game changer today, feather game changer. I think these are fun flies to tie, and it was funny actually. George reached out and said let's tie a streamer, and I've been thinking about tying a game changer recently because I hadn't tied one in a while. So um, Joe's got a nice bubblegum one, and he's putting in the vise now for presentation.
He just
Um,
likes to show off all his
yeah.
flies, and he likes to stroke them. That's what he likes to
Yeah,
do.
this is one I tied earlier. And is that camera, is my phone coming up as bad on your end as it is on mine? The quality?
Don't worry about what you see in this room.
Okay.
Uh, it depends what it's coming out on YouTube, and I'll tell you in a minute.
All right. Sounds good. Well, that's what we're tying. I made it a leggy boy. I tied in a bunch of legs just for added movement and flash, but hoping to get this in a smallmouth mouth in the coming week. So
That would.
but
Oh yeah.
All right, so before you start, just give us the rundown of what materials we need. I want to kind of get my stuff together here.
yeah. So obviously the biggest thing is shanks, or one of the biggest things. You can use flymen, or I am using spawn. Um, ooh, there we go. Spawn makes literally increments of 1 from 9. Actually, I think they go down to 8 millimeter now. But from 8 millimeter to they go way up, but from 9 or 8 to 15, they go in 1 millimeter increments, and then they jump from, they've got 15, 20, I think they do 25, 30, all the way up to 40. So I'm just going to be building a shank. Sometimes I like to play around and just do different ones. I think Joe was saying that he likes 2 10s, 2 15s, and then a hook. This one earlier I did a 9, a 10, an 11, a 12, a 15, and then a hook. So for the hook on this, today I'm using an Arex XO 750. This is one of their new crossover hooks. It's just a stinger hook, kind of like a Gamakatsu B10S, something similar. You can
And
also
what
use,
size?
I'm going to do a 6 actually. If I'm tying smaller ones or for trout, usually I'll use an Arex Nordic Salt curved Gamaris, which is one of their short shank ones, but that's the leading hook. And sometimes if I'm tying them bigger or for trout, I'll tie them with two hooks. So usually
What
I'll make.
what's
Go
what's the NS number on that?
ahead. On the curve, it's a 750.
Oh, never mind.
No, I lied. 7 something. Hold on. It's 172. NS 172.
Okay.
But that's a short shank one. So again, if it just depends on, in my personal preference, just depends on what you're.
All right. So what size?
Going
What
for.
size in the back do you use? A 6, and then in the front, what size do you use in the front?
Oh, if I'm using the curved, so if I'm doing 2 hooks, I'll do the NS 172, even for trout in the back, and I'll do that in like a 8, 10, or 12, just depending on how big I'm tying it. because the shank on those, I can grab one. The shank on those are real small. Um,
They're very similar to the 182s, aren't they?
which one's the 182?
182's got the hook eye that's pointed up.
Oh, is that the home run? Yeah.
It's like
So
the
this is
intruder.
Yeah. So this is a 12 right here, NS 172-12, size 12. But yeah,
Oh.
the intruder is that's a bent up eye. I think that's the home run, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and then hen saddle of various whatever color you want. I'm gonna do chartreuse because I did a white and black one earlier, but I feel like I said, just feeling the chartreuse, so I'm gonna do that. And a barred chartreuse. This is from Nature's Spirit. You can get them from pretty much any. Well, this is actually from Whiting, but it's through Nature's Spirit. And I'm gonna do a chartreuse marabou tail. You can also, if you don't want to do marabou or you don't have marabou, you can also just use small feathers for the tail, and just take about 4. Is that an American saddle?
Yeah, I like these for the tail too. The wet fly hackle, they're
Oh,
a little
nice.
thinner, but
Okay.
for the tails, they're perfect too. And then for smaller micro changers. But for
Yeah.
the hooks, for anybody that's doing saltwater game changers, I generally use. I have 2 hooks here. I have a Tiemco 600 SP and a 2.0,
Hmm.
and then I have a Verves STV 2600 and a 2.0. Good luck finding them. You can also a more popular one is the Gamakatsu SL12S,
Hmm.
the short version.
Yeah.
A lot of guys use that. I've used those plenty for freshwater, for bass and smallmouth too.
Yeah. Yeah. There's, I feel like this whole conversation just comes down to there's a dozen different ways. I mean, dozens probably of different ways to tie this fly. And I always tell people, tie them how you like them, tie them how you want to fish them. Once you get the basics down, the rest comes. Last material though, really is filler flash. This is from Hairline, Blaine chocolate material. If you don't have this, you can use Palmer chenille, either in full length or in medium. The medium is about the same size as the filler flash is. It's a little bit shorter, not as stiff, but the full length regular one, if you don't have it, is like super long, so you have to cut it back a little bit. But and then if you want to add legs, you can add some legs. I'm gonna probably do these pumpkin and orange black flake legs. These are some of my favorite. Yeah,
What scissors are you using?
the one and only Renamed.
That's right.
There you go.
I don't know about those brands.
No?
I mean,
Dude, they're
old school. I've been using
phenomenal.
Dr. Slicks forever, and the ice.
Yeah, I was using Dr. Slick for a long time, and some other ones. I would just bounce around, just trying to figure out what kind of the best are, and I didn't want to spend, you know, these aren't cheap, but they're not crazy. Like Tiemco, I think, has like a pair that's
Oh yeah.
70, $80, and there's some other companies that have
I got a
similar ones.
I got a pair of these copters. I have never used them yet. I
Hmm.
bought them 2 years ago. I'm afraid to use them.
They're really good.
I
I have the same. I have the same
Those are
pair.
good too. Yeah,
I'll
I have a
probably use
pair.
them next year.
So I tie with my scissors in my hand, because I got tired of
Putting
dropping,
down, picking them up, and
putting down,
getting the tip.
putting down.
broken.
Yeah, exactly. Putting down and picking up, but also just I got tired of dropping and ruining scissors. Like I've got, I think 3 or 4 pairs that are just forever ruined because I dropped them on concrete or hardwood floor. So All right.
So what do we do for the first step here? Because
All
I'm
right.
very curious. You're doing the marabou tail. I've never done a marabou tail.
Yeah.
yet, so.
I personally like marabou. It just adds more. Not that the fly needs any more movement, but just a personal preference. So I'm starting off with a 9mm shank. Dave, if you want to,
Yeah.
since you only have 15s,
I
if
have
you have
20s.
20s, okay.
Yeah,
So
that's
if
all I
you
have is 20s.
so if you wanted to, you could start out with. Do you have any? Probably not, because you're a saltwater guy. You could, if you wanted to, you could start off with like if you have just a like a well, you could start out with just a blank hook that you cut the
Oh, the shank.
yeah, cut the shank if you wanted to, and then tie that to it's more steps, but then just tie that to
Right.
a short shank hook like that one that I was showing.
I can do that.
That is totally up to you.
You
Yeah.
just make a big streamer, Dave.
Or
I can
just
do
do
that
that,
too.
yeah.
I can do that too.
You don't have to put as many shanks into it. You can do 4 shanks and that's it.
Yeah.
All right, I'll
So
do that. That's cool.
yeah.
Make it with bucktail.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Okay.
People do that, man. People do
Oh,
that.
do
and
they
it's
do?
like,
I
oh,
did
yeah.
it. I did it with
And it's-
bucktail. I have
Wow.
a giant one. It's like 30 inches somewhere.
That's
Bucktail
crazy.
changer?
Yeah.
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 I
I
think
did
the
one
amount of-
too. They're also a pain and they absorb a lot of water.
I was gonna say, yep.
So
Oh.
when you do this marabou,
Mhm.
Harry, do you tie in this whole entire tail like this, and you just bring it down, make it smaller, or?
So I actually only have. I should probably not be using this, but I'm gonna do it anyways. No, I'm not. Maybe I will. I don't know. So it just depends on the type of marabou that I have. So I'm using woolly bugger marabou right now, which is not a great idea. But usually what I'll do is I'll take 2 clumps. So I just pull. Sorry, I did that off camera. That wasn't good. I pull a bunch of fibers off, and I'll usually tie 1 or 2 clumps in.
Okay, so
So-
you actually peel it off the stem.
Yeah,
Oh.
because you don't really want. I mean, I guess you could make it longer, but I personally just don't make it a long tail. Usually, game changers don't. So, and what I'll do is, unless I can get a big enough clump, I'll try and loosely. If I can't get a big enough clump, I'll try and loosely wrap it around the whole tail and kind of encompass it, kind of like you're finishing a deer, almost like spinning deer hair or something like that. But if I can't grab a big enough clump, I'll just tie it onto 2 sides, 2 clumps on 2 sides, and kind of just work it around again, kind of like deer hair. So that's what I'm gonna do here.
Yeah, this is not
Is-
working. I'm gonna have to do it my way.
What's your way?
Just like Kelly Gallup does it with his tails. He just puts them down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because
You
I
don't-
have.
You don't
the
like
same-
doing the marabou?
No. I'm doing the marabou. I'm just not doing it with peeling it off. I'm gonna just stack
Oh, you're not
2.
stripping it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put 2 together and just tie it on.
I also hate wasting materials, so
Well, this is
I-
probably the last game changer I'll ever tie. So
dude, they're killer flies, man.
Dude, they're killer. Sometimes they're too killer. I'm going to tell you some stories.
Go for it.
So I was fishing for striped bass in the deep southern New Jersey backcountry, and I was having striped bass.
Backcountry.
I was having striped bass ignore these game changers. They would not
Really?
attack them, and I know why. Because they acted too much like real bait fish.
That's
So
weird.
when I threw something like a clouser that was jigging and it was like an
Mhm.
injured bait fish, they gobbled it up.
Interesting.
Wow.
So I'll tell you what, actually, this might help. So not sometimes I do, and I've actually had a lot of luck with this when I do fish saltwater. I'll have to send you a picture later, but in this color combination, actually, chartreuse, you can tie up a jigged game changer with these Arex. Even though they're a freshwater hook, these Arex mini jig hooks right here.
Yeah.
I've tied up some game changers about that big with this in the front, just with chartreuse like I'm doing right now, but I'll put like a 5.5 millimeter bead on this jig hook, and because of that, it goes up and down like a jig, and
Right.
I've caught
Makes sense.
You could
tons of fish
you could
on
also
that.
use these.
Which ones
Yeah, I
are
have
those?
those.
This is the SA 254 salt jig.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
I use these for a lot of
They just came out with those, right?
Yeah.
They were
Yeah,
out
I
for
got
about
it.
a year now.
Okay.
But I use them for a lot of redfish patterns.
Nice. Yep.
Uh, these are awesome. I haven't done it in size 6, but
They
I
double
normally tie
for.
it in size 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they double for. I mean, I use them for smallmouth and largemouth too. I've tried to use them for trout, but never had luck. So once I got the tail in, I'm gonna take this filler, and I'm just gonna tie it in right here and give it a wrap or two, just to give the tail a little bit of flash.
So you tie up a lot of changers. Do you ever use this? Do you ever use the super boo from Whiting?
No, I don't. Actually, I'm going to. Is that
Dave's also got the what? What was the other one? The feathers. What were you?
Burfer.
bird fur? I've heard. I've
Oh,
heard of it. I've just never
bird
used it.
fur.
Yeah, Burfer.
Yeah, that's an oldie but goodie.
I've heard of it.
That's
I've
you.
just never used it.
I've
You use
never
that
heard
for
of it. When he asked me about it, I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about, bro? I've never heard of that shit."
you use that for streamers.
Get busy.
So,
Get
how many
busy.
turns of this filler are you putting in?
I just did like 1.5.
And
Oh,
then
because it's
you're gonna put a feather on there right away.
Yeah.
I did a different flash tail. I did some Mirage Flashaboo.
Yeah, I was
Then
gonna say everybody does it a little different, and
Yeah.
sometimes I do it different almost every time I tie the fly too,
Sure.
just because. So I
That's-
like sometimes I'll tie in like you were just saying, just like a single strand of crinkle flash, or what were you saying, Joe?
Mirage
Flash of it,
Flashaboo.
thank you. Yeah, just
Yeah.
a piece or two down the side. But yeah, so once I get that on, I'm gonna take, for this back section, I'm gonna take 2 feathers from the bottom corners, or from one of the bottom corners. Just want some small ones. Yeah, those look good. So
Yeah, I think
Okay.
the explanation of how to do feather selection is probably important. 'Cause
yeah,
it
that's
could
a
be
great,
very
great point.
frustrating.
Yeah, so on a new, this is actually the first time I'm using it, which is why I wanted to tie one of these. So if you're looking at the cape, usually the smaller feathers are on the bottom outside, and then you're kind of going to work your way in. So bottom outside, and then work your way in and up. And you can see here, these feathers up top, I'll turn it around, are super big, and they've got a lot of feather too. So you can get, as you work your way up, that's kind of how you build your taper on this fly, is you go from small feathers like this that only have a tiny bit of usable space to a big feather that has a ton of usable space. So once I get my feathers, I'm going to line them up. And before I even tie them on, I'm going to kind of determine where I want the feather to start, so, or stop. Usually it's right about where the feathers start to get a little wispy. So I'm actually going to just grab my tips and lightly pull this down, and I'm just going to strip the sides off. It just makes the whole process a lot easier. Makes it easier to grab them, wrap them, so on and so forth. And then once I've done that, make sure my tips are aligned, grab them again, and just pull all my feathers down a little bit.
How many turns do you do of the feather?
About 3 to 4 on this back section, or as much as the hook shank as I have left. Whatever I can get in there without crowding the eye and making it ridiculous.
Word to the wise: when you're trying to glue the thread wraps, don't use Zap-A-Gap. It'll absorb into the feather. So I use Loon's hard, what is it, fly finish, and just zap it real quick.
You could also use the flow. The flow is
Yeah, I
like a
use-
glue.
Yeah,
I
I use
use
this.
Solar as bone dry.
It's
Yep,
the
I
same
got some
thing as
bone dry
flow.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So once I get that where I want it, I'm going to start really, you don't have to pull super hard, but if you grab your top feathers like this and then pull your feather down, it'll push those fibers back. So you can see it's already starting to push back, and that makes wrapping the feather just that much easier. So I don't know if you can actually see that very well on the camera or not. But once I've got that, I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to actually be able to wrap this whole feather, which is impressive that sometimes I don't know about you guys, but well, not sometimes. I often impress myself while tying. I'm like, man, I'm surprised I did that actually.
I do that when I tie giant beast flies. Have you seen my beast
Yeah.
fly?
No, I haven't, but I know the fly you're talking about.
I'm not going to show you because every time I show a guest, George, I know he's got to have one. It's the same size. He's just waiting to pull it out one of these days. I know he is. Don't worry, George. I got something in the plans for next year. Wait till you see. It's gonna
Next episode, you said, right?
no next tying season for the fly show.
Oh yeah.
You gonna be there?
Yeah.
In November. Well, I'm gonna unveil.
Oh, maybe not. I don't know.
I'm gonna unveil a special fly.
Just for George?
Well, me and Brad Buzzy.
Oh, nice.
We're gonna showcase it at Brad Buzzy's stand.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Were you at
That's
his
cool.
stand this year?
Oh, I mean, I visited it.
Oh, okay.
I generally, when I go to fly shows, I've tied at fly shows before. Now I just like to mess around, just talk to
Yeah.
everybody. I don't feel like sitting there tying all day.
Yeah. So I ran the Anglers Coffee booth at Edison Lancaster in Virginia this year.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Yeah. All right, Dave, making quick work. What did you use for that yellow? Is that the bird?
Oh, that's the chocolate finesse in large.
Oh, okay.
I just had it for there, and for a couple of
Nice.
years, and it's just been sitting there. And now this is the first time using it.
I have many materials like that, and that I can just see right now. Yeah, so that's the start right there.
Okay.
Honestly, you could probably just put a hook on it and fish it like this.
I guess I
Panfish,
can.
I'm sure panfish would probably destroy this.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah. Preparing my
all right.
feathers.
What was that?
Preparing my feathers for the next shank.
Oh, nice.
I tear
Right.
the fuzzies off the marabou. Off the
Yeah.
stems.
Yep. Same. All right. So next, I'm gonna go with the 10 millimeter.
August, we're tying game changers tonight, so Howie's giving us a step-by-step instructions on how to do it.
And Joe.
Joe doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's just pretending.
Yo, you want me to go pull out my giant beast fly?
The bubble gum one, he actually bought at the fly show.
Yeah,
He didn't tie it.
I must have bought a half a dozen of them. I got them sitting over here. Okay.
You
Let me show you a better one.
He bought all of them at the show, but you missed it right before you came into our room before the show started. He was just like, "Hey
Look,
guys,
boys.
can you believe I'm actually gonna tie for the first time tonight?"
Oh my god.
Oh, cool.
Look at that.
Change your
Yeah.
popper.
Oh
Nice.
yeah. Look, you ain't
Oh, that's
buying that.
juicy.
That's
Yeah.
handmade.
Yeah,
These
I
are
got
not.
I've
These
got a
are not
small
for
one
sale.
like that somewhere.
All right,
Not
so
for sale.
you're gonna go with another 10 millimeter or a 9 millimeter after this?
I'm going 10. So I went from 9 for the first shank to 10 for this one. And then if you've never tied a game changer and you're watching, put the neck shank through the eye before taking it out of the vise.
Well, now you just told me that I need to use a different size. So, um,
Hey, don't worry,
I mean,
George. Don't worry about it,
use what you
George.
have.
I
Yeah, use
already
what
took,
you have.
I already took it off. I have every size you could imagine, but
What are you using Flyman or Spawn?
yeah,
Okay.
Flyman.
They started doing different sizes too, I think. They also
Are
do
you, George? Are you using those new ones?
No,
next gen ones?
I can't use those fucking things. Them things are fucking garbage.
Aren't we? We're not sponsored by Flyman, so
I was
that's.
gonna say.
I'm on their team, so I don't give a shit. But if they
Are you
hear
really?
it,
Nice.
yeah, if they hear it, then that's their fucking problem. I've told them several
Well,
times. Nobody wants to listen.
You mean the micro ones?
The new ones.
All of them, the micro ones, the big ones, they all suck.
Oh, I use the micro ones, but just for like tiny stuff. I've got one over here somewhere.
I like the old style where you had the hook in the back and the hook eye in the front, and that's it.
Yeah, this is all the micro ones.
The concept of the new ones
8
is
and
really
6
good.
millimeter ones. Yeah.
The concept of the new ones is really good. However, that it's for if you're using big flies like pike and muskie,
Oh yeah.
those shanks do not hold up to a big fish. If
Really?
that, even if even like a big large brown trout or smallie will literally bend that shank in half.
Really?
Just compress it like it's nothing. It's
Who's going pike fishing
I don't
Monday?
know. Fucking I don't know.
So with this filler flash 2, on the back shanks, I personally just trim it a little bit.
Well, thanks for
Oh,
letting me know because I
yeah.
already tied it in on the last one.
I don't use filler flash for the first 2 ties. That's just
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Some people don't. It also, again, going back to what we were saying earlier, it kind of just depends on how you tie those last ones.
You know what I hate about the filler flash when you trim it like this? It ends up all over your freaking table.
Yeah, dude. So I know George, you were in Lancaster, but did you see the guy that was next to us at the booth, at the angler's booth?
Yeah.
He had this the metal guy, Skell Metals.
Oh, yeah.
He had this little tiny vacuum, and this thing is phenomenal. I just bought one, and it's like, dude, it's magic. Just $20 off Amazon. If you don't have one, go buy one. I'm not sponsored by them.
Which one? What's it called?
I'll send you the link after, but this is literally it, and it's got 2 settings. And I mean, you could see it literally. Oh, nice! It's full of stuff from earlier today.
This is the
That's
Black
funny.
and Decker dust buster with little
Nice.
brushes. Check
This
out the
is
brushes.
Dirt Devil, baby.
Oh,
Dirt
shit.
Devil.
We all have one. I'm not gonna. I have one. I'm not even gonna take it out. Matter of fact, here you go. Just because
all
everybody
over the
did.
place.
That's funny. That's too
Black and
funny.
Decker.
There
They
you
all do
go.
the same thing.
So what happened was
Got the
last
old-
year, last year when we tied in. Oh snap! I didn't know this had an adjustment to where you could put this tiny sucker on. Oh, I didn't know this had it. Look at that.
Oh
at
my
that.
gosh!
That
You're
had it.
welcome. You're welcome. We just changed your life.
I thought it was only the big mouth. Oh, this makes it so much easier. Anyway,
Wow, George. Wow.
listen, my primary use of this is to vacuum the floor, so that way it's not all over my socks when I go upstairs.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going 3 10-millimeter.
Um, when we were tying in Massachusetts last year, me and Dave, we came across this guy named Adam.
Mhm.
Adam Hortonberry?
And Adam had this little vacuum, and I'm like, oh man, that's such a clever idea. Where'd you get that from? And Adam, by the way, that's a shout out to you, buddy. And he's like, Amazon, go on Amazon, dude. As soon as
Yep.
I got home, I ordered it. My wife goes, are you fucking kidding me? You ordered a little vacuum? You couldn't just use the vacuum that's in the same room with you? I said, no, this one goes to the
This is
shows
easier.
with me.
Yeah.
This is like right here. You recharge it, you go. No power cord
So this
needed.
next, right? Yeah, that's the best part. This next feather I'm taking from about the middle of this. So right up here. Same thing.
I'm not even ready.
2 feathers. Oh,
It's all right. Just keep going.
struggling. I'm just kidding.
I'll
Just messing
catch
with
up in no time.
Prepare my next feathers for my third shank.
He's already on. Yeah, I was like, Joe's already on his 3rd.
Joe doesn't follow along. He just does his own thing.
Same thing. That's fine.
Sorry,
That's
that's
fine.
that's what everybody says. I don't know why, but
It's like when he was trying to show us how to tie poppers on tubes. We were ahead of him because he was just talking too much. But and then he goes, "Man, you guys tie fast," but we really don't tie fast. It's just he talks a lot, so it's okay. That's why we like Joe. Joe,
going pike fishing on Monday.
I don't
You
know if
are?
he's going.
I don't know.
Somebody's going, I guess.
We're gonna splash a new boat. We got to see about the rain. I'm not afraid of the rain.
Nah, you shouldn't be if you fish. I feel like
I love the rain, especially in summer.
If there's thunder, we got
Yeah.
problems.
that's a different story.
The thunder's coming tomorrow, George. That'll be done. We'll see. We might splash George's brand new boat.
That's right. He was telling me about that. What kind of boat is it?
It's a Saturn.
Okay.
You
How
probably
long?
never. It's 12 foot, 2-person. It's like exactly like the Flycraft 2-person.
Oh, okay, okay.
All right, so now we're going from the middle of the neck, like halfway up. Like if I
No,
had
not that far. Not that far.
just definitely the middle because they're longer.
Hold on. Give me just a second. Like middle bottom. Ooh.
Any questions, George, on YouTube? Is only Johnny on
Uh,
there?
Send me the link. Send you the link for what? On Stream Assassin.
Oh, that's one of my friends, Raj.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Raj
we
is
all
the
know
man.
him.
Oh, okay, good, good, good.
Yeah.
Me and Raj do a we did a veterans event last year together.
Oh, nice.
And
Dude, Raj is awesome.
me and him talk all the time. I gave him shit on Instagram, and he called me up. He goes, "Are you serious? Are you being serious?" I said, "No, I'm just joking, man. I knew you were gonna call."
That's funny.
Yeah, I lost a great friendship because of that. Because sometimes, like when the social media and text messages, sometimes you don't know when someone's kidding.
Well, he just called me up. He's got my number. He calls me up right away.
Yeah, that's what you should do in the real world. But some people don't. And they
Oh,
just,
so
like,
George. So first feathers were like out here.
Yep, I did it on the bottom.
Next feathers are like, yep, like right there.
Like right
Somewhere
here.
in. Yep. Yeah, somewhere right in there.
Okay.
right. We are cooking. How you doing,
And
Davey?
You're still going with 2? Dave's not putting feathers
Yeah.
on it. He's just
No, I'm not putting any feathers.
What are you
That's
doing?
fine.
I have the feathers, but they're somewhere.
You just
I'm
gluing
not gonna-
everything on?
I'm not gonna go offline and just with the feathers. I'll be fine like this.
Yeah, they'll fish. I
All
mean,
right.
that's
So
essentially
you're-
like the original game changer, really.
Yeah.
So
Oh
you're
yeah,
still
it
doing,
is.
You're still
Yeah.
doing 2 feathers?
Yeah, for the back 2, I like 2. Again, just personal preference. Once I start getting into the longer shanks, then I
Go 3, 4.
go 3. Yeah, and 4 for the front ones. Someone else might tell you something different. That's just my
Right.
personal preference.
Okay.
You
Now,
certainly been doing
trimming
it.
wise, can I trim at the end, or you trim?
For you, I would trim at the end.
Oh, you
For
can't
you, I
trim
would
at
trim
the
at the yeah. Since you're
Okay.
doing just flash, I would trim that at the end.
Okay.
That's the nice thing. Well, I mean, I guess there's trade-offs. Like the nice thing about a feather game changer is you're tapering it naturally, so you don't trim it at the end.
Right.
But I don't know. It probably takes a little bit longer because you're
Giving it a haircut.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got to like make sure you're selecting the right feathers and
Right.
so on and so forth.
So
Oh, okay.
I remember Blaine's original game changer material was
Yeah.
called the chocolate body wrap. I have some here, unless I threw it in
Yeah.
the trash. Because the stuff, yeah, here it is. This stuff,
I've got some of that too.
garbage. It
It's
absorbs
it's
too
a
much
body
water.
weird material.
You could tell him that when he comes on.
gonna. He knows that. That's why they redesigned it and made the other version because it absorbs too much water. And I didn't like it. I didn't care for it, even though I
Well,
caught
man,
plenty
he's
of
gonna
fish.
come in here and say, "No, that's not how you tie a game changer." Who'd you learn this from?
I learned
Oh,
it. I learned it from
Joe learned it
Doing
from
it.
himself.
I don't think there was instructions back then. You could. I think I bought some at Cabela's and I looked at it and I'm like, oh, I can
Really?
figure this out. Yeah, because he was. Umpqua, I think, was selling those. I'm on a 15 mil now.
I'm on a 15.
I'm on a
Got three
12.
10s and now I'm on a 15, George. Now I'm moving up in the world to my hen saddle.
Listen, you can't be acting like you know what you're doing. You're supposed to pretend to make our guests feel nice and warm on the tingly on the inside. So now,
How do I make this work for a game changer? Can I do this? Can I use this?
Yeah, for sure. Why not?
I have a question, and we have some questions. Joe, wait up. You're going to be finished before anything. That's what Johnny says.
I'm gonna
Come
tie
on,
two.
Dave. Catch up with them, bro.
Oh, I'm up with them. What are you talking about? I'm
Joe,
just
did
doing it a
you
little
see the
different.
Joe, did you see the new Muskie stickers and Muskie Fool on Muskie Fool? Did you mean Muskie Town? Muskie Town's got new stickers.
The Muskie.
Muskie Town's got new stickers. They're Muskie Town's releasing Flats Town. They're going to be doing. I don't think they announced it yet,
Excuse
but by them putting the stickers out there, I guess that means they're going to
What
start
are they-
doing it.
What are they releasing?
They're gonna start. They released all new stickers for Muskie and Smallmouth, and the sticks. They released new sticks, new rods. Muskie
Oh,
Fool. Muskie Fool got new rods for.
I didn't even
I
know
got
they
my
had
own
rods
custom
to
one.
begin with.
But anyway, are you putting a back hook on this or no?
Tonight, no, because I'm gonna fish this for smallmouth.
Okay, Joe.
But-
When we go in Smallmouth, Joe.
well, I don't know. I should tow my boat up and take you and Dave right now to the Raritan. They're catching 40-pound bass, and we're
Awesome.
we're going pike fishing.
Yeah. So what's wrong with that?
Nothing. I never caught a
Well,
pike, so
listen.
I'd rather do that.
There you go.
There you
what I
go.
like to hear.
Hey,
Okay. You say that one more time, like it's a disappointment. You could stay home and go fucking striper fishing then. Okay.
hey, Howie. Where do you go
What's up?
smallmouth fishing?
So I
Typical-
live.
You go into the same rivers that Lefty Cray used to fish
I do actually, yeah.
back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, so I fish. I don't smallmouth fish a lot. I'm mostly trout because I'm fortunate enough to live literally 5 minutes from 4 different trout streams.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and so, but when the trout get hot,
Yep.
and I have time, I go smallmouth fishing. So I fish the Monocacy, which runs through Frederick and is literally across the freeway from my house. So it's 5 minutes to my boots in the water as well. And that's like I think the Monocacy is actually 30 miles long or so. So there's tons of access. I haven't fished all of it. I know people who have.
Yeah, I remember fishing that.
For those of you guys that are from PA, he's not talking about Monocacy.
Correct.
Oh, that's what I was thinking. Sorry.
No, different Monocacy actually. Yeah. It's funny every time I see that and I'm like, wait a minute, there's what? Yeah, different Monocacy. It does come out of Pennsylvania actually, but south central Pennsylvania, and runs through Frederick and into the Potomac actually. I fished the Potomac once in a blue moon, and I fished the Shenandoah once in a blue moon as well, but that's about it.
Yep, I fished the Shenandoah plenty of times. Hey, Howie, so there's this secret river,
Yes.
and it's on the eastern shore of Maryland, and it's got
Mhm.
tons of largemouth bass in it
Okay.
and snakeheads now apparently.
Yeah.
Have you
dude,
ever fished it?
No, I haven't.
You know about
I've-
it? What I'm talking about?
Potentially. So my friend's actually a natural resource police on the Eastern Shore, and I'm sure he knows.
It's not a secret, but it's a
Yeah.
I found it in a book a long time ago, and then I passed by it when I was picking my boat up last year, and I'm like, oh, that's the place, and I checked it out. Like, man, me and George can put the raft in there for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently there's snakehead all over the place on the eastern shore. Yeah. Again, I've never made it out there just because of time. Like I said, I have a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old, especially.
Oh yeah,
now,
you're not
so.
fishing. Dude. When
No.
I had 2 small kids, you know, they were 2 years apart. I didn't even fish. I just tied clousers and deceivers and went to fly shows.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that.
I fish.
Guys,
The
we
only
got
reason
a
I fish.
special guest tonight.
What's up, buddy?
Say hi.
Hey.
You gonna tie?
He wants to go on the raft.
Hey, Jake, how you doing? How's it going, Jake?
He can't hear you. I got headphones on.
Oh,
Dave.
that's right.
So the only reason why I still fish is because, like I said, I live 5 to 10 minutes from 4 different trout streams, and I fish for I work from home, so it's a perfect combo. So like the last 2 days, yeah. Oh, he can't hear us. Never mind. That's right. Like I went fishing the last 2 mornings for like an hour and a half before work, and that's pretty much the majority of my fishing.
Wow.
Hey, when you get to my age, Howie, I'm 53. My kids are your age. My son's 30. You'll be able to fish whenever you want.
Oh, I'm sure.
And buy whatever boat you want.
Yeah, that's as long as I'm not paying for them to go to college.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, if your kid's at 30 going to college, he's probably getting his doctorate and being.
That's
a doctor.
fair. That's fair. Yeah, that's a good
so
point.
that's good.
That's a very fair point. I will. Yeah. That's good. I'll keep that in mind. But yeah, I've taken our oldest daughter fishing a couple times, but then we had our second, and it's hard. And I have a backpack that a friend gave me, but I just haven't used it, unfortunately. So I'm onto a 14 millimeter now. So George, you were saying that Flyman has started doing what Spawn does, and they do have a bunch of different lengths other than the micros, right?
So they go from 8 millimeter to 10 millimeter to 15 millimeter to 20 millimeter,
Okay.
30, 35, 45, 55, I believe. And then they go to 65, 70, 80, 90.
Really?
Oh, 90?
Dang, I didn't know they went that big.
Wow. The biggest
That's
I seen was 85.
insane.
They changed their sizes a little bit. I could be wrong, but I haven't picked up all of their stuff. I don't really tie with it that often, so.
Yeah, that's wild. I didn't know they went that big. So
I got a couple of I got a couple packs of the 85s.
Dang. That's a big shank.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, at that point, we'll just use a hook.
Well,
So with the 85s, what I do is I do the Zara spook and deer hair.
What is
that's one fly I am not tying ever.
No?
What is it called?
Zara spook? Walk
Never
the
heard
dog?
of it.
No?
No.
Wow.
Because
Joe, just because you said that, we're gonna have a guy come on and we're gonna all tie deer hair because we're forcing Dave to tie a game changer. You're gonna be tying a deer hair spook.
dude, I can spin deer hair with the best, so I'm not afraid of that. You guys forget I've been tying flies for 30 years.
Yeah, that's impressive.
So here's one the Flyman actually produces. This is a walk the dog. So
Oh yeah, I've seen those. Okay, yeah.
spiral
that's their-
spook.
that's their new one.
They're
Yeah.
supposed to be making a bigger one. This one I'm saving those for my smallmouth trip.
I have seen those. Yeah.
Where you heading for smallmouth?
Oh, we're gonna go to Maine. I thought we were gonna spend a week up there.
Oh.
Guys, I
He's
can.
like, this is news to me.
I don't know.
If you ever forget to pull your fibers off beforehand,
Or we
you
can
can
go to
always
the
just do it after.
Susquehanna.
Yeah, I've been meaning to get up and fish
So-
that.
You should have fished it. Like, I guess you couldn't fish in its heyday because you were probably 15 years old. No, you were
So,
like,
so this next feather selection, where is that coming from?
Just start working your way up the center of the saddle really now. So like I took these feathers from pretty much dead center in the saddle. So like right here,
Oh.
this area.
you got to watch it breaking your thread too on the sharp
Yeah.
connection joints.
So Swiss CDC actually makes a really cool tool. If you've never seen it before, call it I think it's their multi-tool dubbing brush or whatever.
Yeah,
But
that
it
is.
actually comes with the little tip on this, and I only know that because I watched a fly fish food video. But it's specifically designed for doing this and pushing these fibers back. So if you use this, it'll.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So that gets them more even, right? Around?
Yeah. Well, and
Okay.
it pushes it back. So like I coaxed them back a little bit more there, but yeah, so that way it helps just make the fly, that much easier.
Right. Oh, that's good to know because I have the tool and I haven't used that yet.
Yeah. You could see here, I mean, like literally after doing that, I'm just wrapping the feather. I'm not even pushing the fibers back
Wow. Look at that.
until I get to the head. And those fibers are actually probably too
Howie,
long.
if you're ever looking for a specific tool and you don't know how it works or how we like it,
Hmm.
just hit up Dave because he's got every freaking tool there is
Yeah.
known to man when it comes
That's
to
good to
fly
know.
tying.
That's good to know, man.
I don't
Keep
have
that
every
in mind.
tool. I have a lot of tools. I'm a tool
A
guy.
lot
I
of
like my tools.
Yeah, I do too. Some
That-
of them I just buy to buy, and some of them I've.
Dave's literally got every pair of scissors ever made by a human man for fly tying, and
by a
as well as
opposed to a non-human man.
yeah, as well as every bobbin and bodkin and any push tool that there is.
You got this.
Yes, I do.
Do you like
I've
those?
used it. Yeah,
Yes,
I've been
I've
using it
seen
because it's
them.
got a hair packer on the end. It's perfect.
Do you
Right.
prefer that or the fugly tool?
I don't know what the fugly tool
It's
is.
made by what's his name?
Yeah,
Pat Cohen.
Pat Cohen. It's the big green one. Fugly hair packer is what it's called, I think.
Heck,
They're
Cohen.
about the same price.
You don't know who Pat Cohen is?
No, I do. I can't believe I
He's-
never saw
He's
this.
the
Here you
guy
go-
that used to
here
do
you
the
go, Joe.
poppers,
Here you
I
go,
know.
Joe.
the deer hair stuff.
Yeah,
he used
that
to
one.
do
Oh
all
God,
the deer hair
I would
birds.
never use those.
Yeah, here it goes.
Looks like a back
Appar-
scratcher to me.
Apparently, they're the bee's knees.
That's like
Yeah.
that's the best thing you can have for stacking hair right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think this new Minnesota fly tool is better.
It's not.
That
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't used
Like it.
either of them, so I can't talk, I guess. But apparently with the fugly packer, I mean, Dave, you could probably speak to it, but the fugly packer, you just pinch and push, and does everything you need it to.
Dave,
But that's
send
how
me the
you
link.
see
I'm gonna
people
buy one.
like. That's how you see people that. Have you ever heard of like Panther branch bugs? He's a guy out of Arkansas, or Sergeant Bass Fisher.
Yeah, I know. We
Pat-
know Joe.
Yeah, Joe Jackson, awesome guy.
Yep.
Like that's how they get their deer hair so tight, and probably Dave too, when they do those immaculate poppers
Oh yeah.
and stuff like that,
Right.
and they just look unreal. Oh, that was dumb. I
Yeah,
just took that out.
Yeah, some guys got some good deer hair
Insane
packing
skills.
skills.
Yeah.
So I was a little distracted because somebody decided to come down here and pay a visit to me. So we're still doing 2 feathers, or we're doing 3 feathers?
3.
Oh, so I need to add one more. Not.
Sure.
No, I'm not. I'm just keeping it 2 for now.
I was gonna say at the end of the day, I don't. Someone might argue that it does make a difference, but I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. You just want more as you keep moving forward because you're building up that volume for like the
you
head.
right. You want the
So-
body to be thicker.
Exactly.
Yeah, a little visitor got mad because he wanted to tie at his own vice, and
He
mommy
has his
wouldn't
own
let him.
vice.
Yeah,
That's awesome. What
Oh.
vice does he have?
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh no.
It's one of your old vices, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he don't worry, he's getting a new one in like 2 weeks.
Should get him a Norvice.
No,
You got one guess as to what it'll be.
Yeah, HMH.
Yeah.
Do they make a junior vice?
no, but yeah, called the Spartan.
The Spartan,
That's fair.
which I have.
All right, so we're still doing 15, or we're going to 20 now.
Yeah, I'm on 15 now. This is my fourth shank. 1, 2, 3. No, this is my fifth shank, and I'm just on 15. But I'm gonna do 15 and then probably just go straight into the hook.
All right, so
Yeah, I'll probably do that.
I'll do a 20. I'll do a 15, and then I'll do another. Then I'll do a 20 to a hook.
Any questions,
also-
George?
Or wait. So if you do on-stream assassin said, I guess where we're going pike fishing. We're going where we're going. It's a 2-person boat, so Roger, you're kind of out. You're
You
out
can
of
fit
the
like
boat.
4 people in that thing. We can crunch everybody. In.
The weight
Yeah.
capacity is like 500 pounds. Me just getting into it is topping it off. So
And I'm like
Oh,
200 pounds,
gosh.
so
no, I'm just kidding.
got like 100 pounds of gear.
You're not gonna have gear. You're gonna have little boxes and your fly rod. That's it.
What are you talking about? I got a cooler for all my food.
No,
The
that's your
cooler
allowance.
that goes into my cooler. That's it.
All right. I'll have to conform to your rules and regulations from your new ship.
There's not that much room.
Yeah,
You
I was
think
gonna
there's
say
a
he's the
lot of room.
captain.
There's
You're the
not
captain.
that much
Captain.
room.
Captain George.
If there was
Captain of your ship. Wait till you get on my ship.
all I'll bring is my fly rod. I expect all your flies to be provided by you.
Uh-oh.
That's true. All the guide provides all the flies.
I'm providing my knowledge and getting you on fish and give you the flies.
Well, I'll be rowing. You'll be in the front.
I'm gonna row. There's some nice spots to pull over too that we can switch out and stuff.
We'll see how it goes.
Well, it's just remember we got to start early.
Extra early because that's gonna be like a 30-hour row.
Oof.
George, it's 10 miles.
You're not.
Yeah, that's
floating
like
10
30
miles.
hours.
Yeah, you're not floating 10 miles. You're not.
3
We're
miles
not
is
gonna
enough.
float 10 miles. We're gonna have to row a little bit too.
Yeah, you're not doing 10 miles in one day though. On a first float, that's not gonna happen.
You don't think so?
No way. We're gonna
think-
be out there for literally 20 hours,
I think
and
we
I
can do it.
can't. I gotta be home by 6:30.
I think we can do it.
It's a 3-hour drive home almost.
All right. I'll have to replan the trip then. I'll have to figure out another spot then.
Another person to go with, just steal his boat.
Just
No,
to,
it's
just to switch. Let me just help him pull it out, and then I'm hopping over.
I just want to
Yeah,
know how
there you
you're gonna
go.
load that thing in by yourself.
Load it in what? Just
Your
lean
truck.
lean it against the truck and push up.
You gotta get a trailer with a roller on it.
Yeah, no need for that. I lift the raft up in the back out of my garage and carry it to the backyard like
Oh, that's
30
right.
feet by myself.
Yeah. That's true.
It's really not that heavy. If it's empty and there's nothing in there, it's not that heavy.
That's fair.
But
Okay.
my kayak's heavier than that thing.
That's why I sold
Really?
my kayak. George, what we can do is we can put into one spot and row upstream.
We'll figure it out.
I did that in a canoe. We rowed like 5 miles upstream and then floated back down.
That sounds
What?
terrible.
Well, you got to understand too. This isn't like a super heavy moving river
Well,
either.
with all the
Oh,
rain
okay.
we're getting, George, it could be a little different.
Yeah, but in general, it's not like you would see some of the big rivers that are moving.
This is more like swamp. It's actually, I shouldn't even said the word swamp.
It is a swamp.
I know, but
Someone
gonna
might
waste
get
some
offended.
clues.
Nobody's gonna get offended because you'll probably catch more toilets than you catch fish.
This is a Raritan. I've heard they find dead bodies in there all the time.
Uh-oh.
No, they just what they end up finding is a pair of feet stuck in cinder blocks.
Oh my gosh.
Did you guys remember that news
Oh,
story?
man.
Like, cause in where was it, Las Vegas, where they had a dry spell, like a drought, and the lakes were drying up, and they found like,
You talking about last summer?
yeah, with they found dead
Like
bodies
Lake
in
Mead and stuff? Yeah.
yeah,
They found
Yeah,
what?
that's what. They
dead
found
bodies
all
in
sorts of stuff. Yeah.
the bottom of the lake. They were in oil tanks and stuff.
That's wild. I didn't know that.
You just find a good place in the. All you gotta do is just go into the Pine Barrens, walk a little further with a little dolly. You're good to go.
Or put them in the marsh. The marsh.
Yeah, isn't the Pine Barrens basically just one big marsh, anyways?
No,
No,
Pine
it's
Barrens
sand.
it's all sand.
So
And
it's
Okay.
it's easy
and
it's
pine
easy to
trees.
dig a hole and bury people, basically.
That's why all the mobsters used to come to the Jersey Shore to bury the bodies.
Because of the marsh or the Pine Barrens?
Well, not only that, but you would have all the New Yorkers come in, and now you're in the state of New Jersey versus New York, so it's harder to track it down. And
Oh.
Philly would come into Jersey because it's harder. I'm giving away mobsters, secrets here.
Yeah.
I should,
you just gotta-
and I'm not gonna
They're gonna-
say this on air, but my wife is part of the Bruno crime family out of Philly, so I did not say what I just said.
We're no crime family. That was like circa 1970. Lobsters, that's not
Oh,
even
what
a
am I
thing
looking
anymore.
And that's what you
That's what I'm
think.
looking for. All right.
That's what I know.
So now I'm moving on to my hook. Just FYI.
So you're doing 2 hooks, right?
No, I just did one for this one. So this is
You're in your hook already? Holy
Yeah.
moly.
But I mean, I started small and I'm going small. So I mean,
I'm on. Let me see.
yours is probably going to be what, 12 inches?
No,
This is going to be
5 inches.
really. This is going to be about 5 inches.
I'm on my 6 shank.
Okay. Yeah, I did
I'm
9,
almost
10, 12, 14, 15.
I mean, how much time we got left? I want to finish this for the show so I can make this smaller. if I
We got like 10 minutes. 10 minutes. We could go a little longer. It's okay.
got till 11, right? Isn't it till 11?
Well, yeah, I usually try to do it about an hour and 15 minutes, and then we have the after show. But it's all about whatever people want. A lot of people are active in the YouTube world. So
Oh, nice. Who's anybody asking any questions?
nope, everybody's I guess just paying attention and watching the tying.
So what I like to do personally is, I mean, with a saltwater hook, you probably don't need to do this because saltwater hooks are heavier. But these XOs are pretty light hooks, so I just put some 20 millimeter wire on there, or sorry, not 20 millimeter, 0.020 wire on there, and just like a dab of super glue, and then I'll just shove it backwards, just to keel the hook.
I do that too, even the saltwater hooks.
Okay.
Just because I want to make sure, like if this thing's in current and you're
Yeah.
stripping it, I want to make sure it's not turning on its side.
Yep, exactly. Although sometimes I think about it and I'm like, that probably isn't the end of the world because
Turning
probably
on
looks
its
like
side's actually pretty good. 'Cause
Exactly,
it looks like a
yeah.
seriously wounded beach.
exactly,
Yeah, that's
yep,
true.
yeah,
It's having a bladder issue.
If you ever watch
Yeah.
bunker schools, you'll see them flopping on their sides too on the surface. So,
yeah.
not always a bad thing for sure.
It just bothers me though.
Yeah.
Which means that I won't catch fish. I'm just kidding.
You ever catch any big brown trout on a game changer?
I'm trying to think. Not personally, but I know people do.
I had one on last year.
Oh wow.
We're at the Passaic,
No,
the Manasquan, sea
He's
run
gonna-
brown trout.
no, like
He's gonna have
On
to
a-
kill you if he tells you. There's
on
sea run browns in New Jersey.
no, there's a
Oh.
population of like 2 that actually make it back, and that's it.
But they get caught, so
That's
Uh,
funny.
But and that's the water's just too dirty and it's
Yeah.
just not healthy enough. But they tried to restore the project. No, it was in PA. A wild brown went after it. I had him on for about a second, and I think I just didn't set the hook right.
A feather
And,
game changer, a brown would definitely go after.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a feather.
Yeah.
It was pretty
PA,
much the same color I'm tying now.
which is what, black?
Black and like olive and black.
Okay.
So you just tie
Yeah.
it in with the wire, or you don't add any like 6 millimeter balls, beads?
No, yeah, because I tie it close. That's a good question. I kind of skipped that. Sorry. So I tie it really,
Okay.
really close. So you could see, I think, probably just how big the
Oh yeah.
loop is.
Yep.
You could tie it that way. I'm
Right.
trying to think if I ever have. I probably have. I like to mess around with patterns a lot. So like like I said, I'll tie one thing.
You forgot
like,
the silly legs. When are you putting the silly legs in?
I know, I realized that.
Are you supposed to do it with every tie-in?
Yeah. So like this one I did at the head of every shank. We could do that in the after show. I also just use 20-pound backing.
What's up, Johnny?
I've
Johnny's
never had an issue with backing, and it's easier to tie with versus like intruder wire,
Right.
unless I'm doing a rear shank or a rear hook. If I'm not doing a rear hook like on this one, I just use backing because
So when
nothing's gonna grab that and pull on it, right?
When you're doing the silly legs, are you doing them all the way around? Like one at the top, one at the bottom?
No, so I just do on the side. Trying to see if I can show you. Yeah,
Hey John, how's it going?
you might be able to see that. Maybe, probably not.
Oh, you can see the chat, Dave?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, my daughter's not here, so.
Ah, ha, ha.
yeah, I heard you the other night that you couldn't see the chat. I was having that problem. Remember? What was it?
No, his daughter had his iPad.
Yeah, so I can't. Yeah, I can't answer. I can't read any questions or anything because when she's here, she's on the pad, just to keep her busy.
How old's your daughter?
7.
Nice.
Dave started late.
I started. No, no, I didn't. I got a 28-year-old.
Okay.
You wouldn't
Fish?
you wouldn't say by just looking at Dave how old he is.
You can't tell.
Then when he grows his beard, then you're like, man, who's that homeless old guy?
What are you trying to say, George?
What about it? You look like Santa Claus that lost his hair.
I was supposed to shave tonight. I actually shaved yesterday.
I shaved today. I had to take it off
I didn't shave today.
before I came on the show.
That's funny. But yeah, no, I like playing around. So like this is for trout, and I've caught fish on this. But like this is a sculpin pattern that I've tied like the same pattern like 4 different ways, 5 different ways. But I do the same thing on these. Is even with the hook on the back, I still use this 20-pound backing, and I mean I've caught a 18-inch brown on it and I've not had any problem.
So you don't ever tie off your shanks to your hooks?
Say that again?
You don't put your shanks to your hooks? Like you don't tie them off to the hook?
No.
On this fly or on a game changer?
On a game changer. Like
Yeah.
when
You mean like I did here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I
Like-
was saying is I just use 20-pound backing for this. When I'm
attach it to the hook.
yeah, but only usually when I'm tying a single hook because 1, it's easier than intruder wire in my opinion, but 2, nothing's pulling on this back half. If it is, it's just a short strike, right? Like there's
So
no.
why not cut the shank and just tie the shank off to the hook?
What do you mean?
Like, see how? So this is what like.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know
I
what
know what
he's
you're
saying.
talking about. Yeah, I know
I
what
don't
you're
do it
saying.
that way.
I've never done that. Yeah, I just, like I said, I hate wasting stuff. So I'm
Okay.
like, man, that's a, that's another shank or something, right? Tie a dozen game changers and you do that with a hook. That's a dozen hooks lost, right? So I don't know. It just adds
Well,
up
I'm
in my
not doing it
opinion.
with hooks. I'm doing it with a shitty shank
Oh,
from
wow.
Flyman. So.
Mm. Good thing they're not sponsoring this show then.
All right, that's it. Going to the hook now. I could do one more, but I'm not.
Johnny says, George, you look like Winnie the Pooh that lost his honey.
Oh my gosh.
We have fun on the show.
I could tell.
It's even better when we do a live feed on Instagram because
Yeah.
it's unfiltered.
I haven't been joining you guys.
Well, you've been busy doing yard work.
I did yard work again today. So the problem is I got to move my giant shed, my barn, because apparently the previous homeowner has it 14 inches on the guy's property line
I
behind
love
me.
when that
Wow.
happens. I love when that happens.
And it's been like that for like 15 years, and
But
now I got
now
a
he's
court
complaining.
order to move the darn thing.
So how many
Yeah.
stacks of feathers do you do once you get on the hook?
I was just about to explain that when he was done with that. So if it depends on the hook, if you're using like a curved Gemaris, like one of the short shank hooks, I usually will just do one. But for this longer shank hook, I'm going to do two. So again, you probably can't see it. You might be. There you
So
go.
I'm using a Gamakatsu, pretty much.
The
Well, it's the
B10S or
well, it's not
S
the B10S. It's the
salt version.
PR320 stinger hook from
Okay.
Arex.
So Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's
Oh, the Predator.
B10S. It's B10S. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what these XOs are pretty much. Just in a different wire. Yeah. So then I would do, depending on what size hook you're using, I would do two. So just you're basically going to build it the same way. So almost as if it's two different shanks.
Okay.
So like two 10 millimeter, or however you want to put it, two 15s.
Okay.
And then I personally am going to do 3 feathers on the back one, and then I'm going to do 4 on the front. And same thing, just working my way up slightly. Ooh, these are getting good now. It's quiet. Everybody must be concentrating.
I'm trying to figure out how to.
Do you make your loop? How do you do your loop, Howie? Do you do it vertically or do you do it? I guess you gotta.
You mean to tie in my?
Yeah, I guess because my hook guy is on this plane, I gotta do mine vertical. Can't do it laterally.
Yeah, I do mine.
So it's got to be on top. It's got to be on top of the.
Oh, okay. I do
shaft.
mine on the side. So vertically, I guess. Oh, that's a sharp hook. This is a great, one of the worst and great things about tying game changers is you get to tie the whole fly without a hook, and then you get to the hook and you forget that there's a point there.
Oh yeah.
How far back do you go on your wire?
I go right into the, like just into the bend. And that's just so it doesn't foul, like the tail doesn't foul around the hook, because if you don't go far enough back, it'll wrap around it. But I would say just slightly into the bend.
Okay, that's good enough. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Got these nice cutters, Dave, to cut the wire.
There you go.
Oh, cool.
They work great.
So I had those, and after a few cuts, they got dulled up. So now I just use big old shitty Dr. Slicks.
Mm-hmm.
But-
One thing that's nice about Dr. Slicks actually is some of them is they do have a wire cutter in the
Yeah.
back notch,
Balloon
which
has
is pretty
that, too.
nice. Yep. Yeah. Same. Absolutely.
They don't always work. It only works on a particular
Yeah.
wire.
Yep.
It's these guys here. They have the O's.
Mhm.
But if you go into like a medium wire, it won't work. If you're using
Mhm.
a small intruder wire, it'll work.
Yep. Ooh, almost lost that.
I'm putting a drop of super glue on my connection joint here too.
Yep. Yeah. Good point. I forgot to say that.
You
I
guys
always
are
do that too.
gonna be done way before me. But
I'm
Okay,
done already.
It's not a competition. There you go. Now you got to trim it. Yeah, you're
Yep.
not dumb. You got to trim it,
Yeah, trimming it takes
which is
longer
gonna
than
take you all
freaking
night.
making it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you don't know
That's why
how
I like.
you
I
don't know
love
how
feather
fast
changers.
Dave is.
These are my favorite game changers ever. If Blaine comes on, I'm gonna show him my 15-inch game changer.
Uh-uh.
You can show him whatever you want.
I
should
honestly,
do-
I've been trying to book Blaine a few times.
He probably wants to get paid.
Of course he does.
What?
you think-
No, not to be on the show, but for
No, for his
guiding.
guide service.
Oh.
We've
on the
locked
show.
him down for the show. We just got to get the date.
He's probably booked. He's probably booked.
Yeah.
We just
You
gotta
know
get
he
the
has
date.
his own podcast, right? So
It's all right.
Didn't,
Listen,
but that's not totally surprising.
he started it after I asked him to come on this one.
Yep.
All right. So I am gonna tie legs in now, George.
I've been tying him in
Oh,
since
okay.
I asked.
All right. That's
I'll
cool.
just progressively go up on him.
And I'm gonna tie in hot tip orange ones because why not? So speaking of Kelly Gallup, I like tying these legs in his way because it makes them stick out instead
Oh,
of way back.
like X.
Yeah.
I mean, not X. Figure eight.
Yeah. X figure eight. I call them both, whatever. I don't know if he actually came up with it, but he always does them on his. So yeah, I'm gonna tie him in like that, and then
How many tying on each side? 2.
I did 4. 'Cause
Okay.
why not?
I cut him in
So-
half.
still trying to get. I can't believe how you've only been tying for 4 years. I got
Yeah.
flies older than that I don't even use.
That's funny. I might have flies older than that too, actually.
So
I've been
it's
fishing
funny,
for a
Joe,
little
that
longer.
you say that because I've only been tying big saltwater patterns for a year.
I know. I remember. Well, remember you guys.
He's like, I'm
I've been
aware.
doing it forever, but like, I listen. I didn't like fly tying, honestly.
No.
And I can't believe my wife can't believe I do it because I got ADD. Like
Same.
it was killing me tying 12 of the same pattern. Like I was dying.
I don't do 12 of the same. I do 2, and
I
then
had
I move on to the next one. 2.
I had to
then
because
move-
this captain wanted it, and I'm like, I was so bored. Man, it's just hard. But I only tie for need, and back in the '90s, you had to. I started off tying clousers and deceivers, and became, pretty damn good at it. My first musky fly was a big deceiver. It was like 10 inches. And it
cool.
was yellow, and it looked terrible because the deer tail was terrible.
Do any
What?
of you guys that what you were just saying, Joe, made me think of this, but do you guys know Jeff Klain up in Massachusetts? He does the Save the Stripers giveaway every
Yep.
year.
Yep.
Do any of you guys tie for him
No.
for that?
I did
No.
last year, I think. He did it for Maine, didn't he? It wasn't in Maine. He did the show in Maine. No,
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 Marlboro.
I did it through Maine Fly Guys were one of the contributors.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So I gave away a bunch of flies to them, and they gave it to it.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. That just made me think of that because I was thinking I tied up some deceiver-ish type flies for that giveaway this year. I still need to do a video for that because people asked me to, and that was like 3 weeks ago. Actually, that was longer than that. Anyways. All right, so on this last one, I am going to do... Oh, that's a good feather right there. I'm gonna do 4 feathers to get some extra volume. Dang. I don't know which ones to choose. This is actually a really good cape.
I don't know how guys sell game changers. Like these things take an
Oh,
hour.
yep.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, they're also
Bottoms.
selling them for a lot of money. Well, some
Yeah.
people aren't, and I'm like, you need to.
Yeah.
I tell people, like if I see them on Instagram and I see that they're selling them for $10, I'm like, you could be selling those for at least 15, if not $20.
Yep.
If I was selling them, I'd be charging 40.
People do.
I wouldn't charge. I wouldn't even sell them because for me,
Yeah.
for an hour's worth of work, I
Mhm.
can make more money working overtime on my job and not time. It's worth it to me to do that instead.
Gosh dang it! I just ruined a feather.
Same probably George too, right? Do you get overtime, George?
Heck yeah.
What do you guys
When
do
When I
for work?
retire, maybe I can get a job there.
You don't want a job here.
Yeah, there's nothing better I want to do than sit at Wawa and get free food.
You don't get free food. You gotta pay for the food. You gotta pay for the food.
Oh, Wawa's so good though.
Yeah. It's not that good anymore.
No, I know it's not, it's really not.
I've had it's not as good as it used to be.
Nope.
Everything's really. Dave never had it till like last year.
Really?
Yeah, I don't live in Jersey. That's why.
Oh,
The
where do you
hoagies
live?
were
I
like how they should be, like 20 years
New
ago.
York
Now
City,
they're
up
like,
in Harlem.
Oh, okay. Dang.
you got Dave. You got
Sheep.
probably got Quickie up there, right?
Oh,
No.
Check.
You have Quick
No.
Check.
No.
Quick check by me.
Yeah.
No quick
Yep,
check.
north
No.
they do.
Now, do these legs when you tie these in? Do you trim them or you keep them the same length as the whole entire game changer?
I just trimmed them, like, I trimmed them unevenly. So, like, if that makes sense, I'll trim them all just a slightly different length.
So you tapering them.
Yeah. Gosh dang it. The hardest part about doing 4 feathers is getting them all aligned.
Yeah.
Do 2 at a time.
Man, now you're just thinking too smart. Okay?
Do it in tight wraps.
Yeah. There we go.
For tight wraps. Touching wraps, they say, right? Ever heard that term, George?
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Touching
trout term.
wraps? This is cool. This is our first podcast where we're tying.
Really?
Yes.
You're the first tire. I told you were gonna be the first tire.
Maybe you did, and I just didn't. I wasn't listening.
You were just like, this guy's full of shit. It's not gonna happen. He's not
Well,
gonna happen.
I saw. I had been meaning to listen, especially to
Gunner.
Gunnar Brammer, and then also the
Ron.
no,
310.
the guy that does drawing a
Hentai
blank on his
Market.
name. Yeah, Hentai Market.
Oh, Alex.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, he's an awesome guy.
Yes, he is.
And I figured that you guys tied with them, at least Gunnar. So
Gunner, I wanted a different perspective because every show he comes on, he ties. Everywhere he
Okay.
goes, he ties. So I wanted to have a more like person to person type of thing with him. When you tie, sometimes you tend to start describing what you're doing more
mhm.
than
absolutely.
letting people know yourself and get
Yeah.
because with him is everybody knows his ties, but nobody really knows him.
The man.
Person. Yeah.
And like
Wait,
the
he's
cool
a person too? I'm just
like the cool thing with him was that I never knew he worked with Kelly Gallup.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. That was
I
awesome
didn't-
story.
I didn't either.
Yeah, he worked at his shop for a whole summer, and he
awesome.
Kelly Gallup was actually a family friend when he was growing up in Michigan.
Interesting.
Yeah,
and-
you got to listen to the podcast.
I do. I know. Yeah, don't give
Uh,
away all the info
Give
now. I
away
gotta go
too
listen.
No, but I will tell you a secret in the after hours that he told me.
Okay.
Well, I know the secret.
Nobody knows it because we didn't discuss it.
Bum bum bum.
Boom, boom,
So-
boom, boom.
Now we got something to look forward
That,
to, I guess.
man.
If you guys want to hear the after hours, just head over to the podcast. With
I'm not telling you
hopefully
my
it will be
secret now.
available in 24 hours.
I got a secret too.
And if you guys want the Bucktail Midwest Bucktails ATV 10, you get 10% off for 24 hours.
Oh yeah,
guys.
he just died a bunch of chartreuse, as Joe Clavicacci would say.
Chart.
Chartreuse,
Cavecchio.
whatever. He's an ex-mobster.
Howard, I got a question.
Yeah.
How did the name Howard the Duck came about?
That's a good question, dude.
That is a good question. So, do you know the movie Howard the Duck?
Yeah,
Yes.
hell yeah. Who
Yeah.
doesn't know the movie Howard the
Okay.
Duck?
I don't.
Young
You
people.
don't? From the 80s? Early 90s?
No, tell me about it. So maybe I did
It's
watch it.
He's
you
from
don't want
outer
to watch
space?
it. You don't want to watch it.
It's
Oh,
awesome. It's great. You definitely want to see it.
Watch like so you've just seen the like live Roger Rabbit, where
No.
it's like half cartoon, half
Real.
person. Yeah, it's like that, and it's but weirder. So in high school, I played soccer and I played soccer in college, and my friend or my coach, like freshman year, just yelled across the field, "Howard the Duck, come here!" Literally everybody stopped what they were doing and were like, "What did you just say?" None of us
Get
knew what
out
it
of
was.
here.
Yeah, none of us knew what he was saying, and it just stuck from there. So like my nickname, my two best friends from high school still call me Ducky.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and then my real name is Howard.
Right.
So that's where that came from.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, there you go. That's gonna destroy some smallies.
Oh, yeah.
Dave, did you start trimming yet?
No, I guess I'll be trimming later.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, I guess so. Later tonight. It's going to make a mess.
Hey,
Yeah.
Howard, how
Yeah.
far are you from State College?
State College is about 2.5, 3 hours.
If you want to come on a fishing trip, you're welcome to come along.
Let's do it.
We're
Where?
doing
What are you doing?
May trout. Green drakes.
Oh yeah. So I'm
No
actually going up.
thanks for the invite, George. I'm not doing it.
Well, I know, listen, if you guys want to come along, you're more than welcome to.
You guys don't like to catch small fish, I hear.
No.
I'm going out there. I'm going to
Musky fish or
Susquehanna.
steelhead.
Listen, some of the brown trout that I've caught on a dry fly there are bigger than some of the smallies you'll ever catch in your life.
True. I've
Oh,
never caught a
easy.
big brown trout,
Easy.
so maybe I'm missing out. I don't know.
Yeah. I've never caught a bigger smallmouth than my largest brown trout. But then again, I don't do a ton of smallmouth fishing, so
It's the biggest smallmouth you ever caught.
like 15 inches.
Nice.
Yeah.
I had a 5-pounder on a woolly bugger.
Oh my gosh. That's
In
wild.
the same river we're going to go for green drakes.
Mm-hmm.
They're mixed in there.
I
They're
caught
massive.
two
I've heard that.
4-pounders back to back
That's wild.
on consecutive casts. Honey hole.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to I'll actually be up there in 2 weeks doing a trip. So I started working this year for an organization called Altar Fly Fishing, which is a Christian ministry organization. We specialize in retreats for pastors and burnout and special forces military.
Oh, it's pretty
And
awesome.
Yeah, so this will be the first trip that I'm leading. So, and I'm the only East Coast guy, so I actually organized the trip.
And where are you going?
So we'll be in Coburn. We'll be on Penns Creek.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but so this will be a pastor's trip. We've got, I think, 14 pastors coming or 13 pastors.
When you going?
2 weeks from now, very last weekend. So it's the 26th to the 29th.
So you'll get March Browns.
Yeah, March Browns, caddis,
You won't
Uh,
see. You might see the beginning of green drakes. You might.
with how warm it is, I'm kind of wondering.
Oh, this thing's.
Um,
What's a March brown?
It's a big bug.
Yeah.
It's a
Not
big
as-
brown bug.
yeah.
You know what
not-
that is, Dave?
No, I don't.
I don't think they have those in New York City.
No,
Oh,
they
they
don't.
got big bugs.
We got
Yeah,
big
that's
bugs
probably
though.
true.
I'll tell you what.
They crawl on the ground.
They got bigger rats too. But
And they look
I'll-
at you. They look at you like, "What? What you gonna do?"
I'll tell you what. More people that I've met more people from New York City that do trout fishing that do saltwater fishing.
Oh yeah.
Really?
I'll get out of
Ju-
here.
Way
You know-
more. Way more.
Probably because they need
way,
to get out
way
of the
more.
city.
So what happened is you get a lot of guys from the city go out to Long Island because they have a lot of rivers that have trout. They stop the trout over there and they just
Really? Okay.
a hop, drop, skipping away. You know.
They go to
Interesting.
Delaware. Half them guys
Let
go
me
to
tell you
Delaware
something.
too.
Here we go.
So today, I'm on this text chain for my guys, my peeps up in North Jersey, and ask them if they're fishing. And the one guy's like, "There's a bite going on, 40-pounders in Red Bank." And then he sent me a picture, and literally 65 guys lined up. And then he said, buses kept unloading guys with fishing equipment.
What kind of buses?
Like city buses, like people like they were called in to get on the bite because apparently big
What?
bass were feeding right there at
That's
the
wild.
shoreline at the river. Yeah, I saw a picture. It was like nuts. I'm like, man,
That's
I don't care.
ridiculous.
I'm never fishing like into that mess.
No.
So
no.
Joe, what you got to do is go there at night and fish the river at night.
It's not for me, dude.
Why?
I like getting out of the way, man. I don't want to because
No.
Red Bank's like a city, dude.
No. No, it's not. Not where I fish at night. You don't see one single person.
Talking what at the in the Navesink part or in the actual Shrewsbury River?
Both.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get my boat out there at night. So my buddy, in fact, I wonder if Howie knows him because he used to be like a fishing manager at LL Bean at the store in Marlton. His name's Andrew.
Negative. But I know someone that might know him.
It's-
But
Fritz
anyways.
knows him. Fritz knows him.
Yeah, Fritz works at the Orvis store up in Princeton. Anyway, his brother works at the golf course there, up there, and they're allowed to like get on the golf course and fish like a couple times. They let him
That's
do that.
awesome.
In the Navesink.
All right, I just got to put my head on and then I'm finished.
All right, I'm finished, man.
Yeah.
Wrapping off.
I'm on number 2.
Well,
I'm
I
gonna-
remember I had a little distraction happening here.
Oh, that's right.
Not-
Yeah. I'm gonna tie
not-
one of these jig ones up.
Not too happy with the little bit of a beak with the head. But it'll do.
All right, Howie, what do you got to say to the audience?
Thanks for checking in.
Thanks for checking in.
Let me know, if you ever have any questions, let me know. Like I said, I love teaching people. Feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. If I don't know it, I know plenty of people like these fine gentlemen here who probably do. So I'm always open to a conversation.
You two up top. You two up top. Anything to say?
So I got a question for as I'm trimming this game changer. Is it facing me or I pull the tail and cut from there?
It's best to do it from back to front.
Back to front. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
it's a mix of both actually. So if you do it fully from front to back, it's actually more forgiving because
Right.
you're cutting with the fiber, so you
Right.
can't really take as big of a chunk away.
I
Um,
see.
So, yeah,
I guess I
Okay.
feel pretty happy with this one. I mean, it's
yeah,
okay.
that's nice.
It's
You even got the
You know that-
jungle cock too.
that modeling.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Probably
nice.
could have worked on the taper a little bit, but I was rushing.
What
I wasn't selecting the hackle as good as I should, but it's good enough.
is that
All
real
right,
jungle
guys.
cock or is that The
No,
fake
it's
jungle cock.
Pro Sport Fisher, fake
Mm-hmm.
jungle cock. It's the best fake jungle cock out there.
That's what she
Nice.
said.
Pro Sport Fisher. Look at it. You can't
Is
even
it?
tell the difference. Look at this.
Yeah, I've seen their stuff.
All right,
Awesome.
so we're gonna end the live here, you guys. If you guys want to listen and watch the after show, check it out on Spotify. Howie, thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
If you guys haven't, give us a thumbs up, or if you guys have any questions, go ahead, give us a thumbs up, ask us questions. We'll get back to you. Next week we have who, Dave? Who's coming on next week? Joe?
You're asking me? Dan Blanton.
Ah, if you guys don't know who that is, do some research and you'll get to know him next
If you
week.
don't know who that is, whatever.
But so stay tuned for that one, and thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week.
Have a good night.
Have a good night, guys.
See you, everyone.